So you've been cyber fleeced, a survivor's guide. All right, let's talk about something truly awful: cyber fraud. It's the digital equivalent of finding out someone's been quietly siphoning money out of your bank account while wearing a balaclava made of stolen passwords. And look, it happens. Maybe you clicked a link you shouldn't have, trusted a prince who emailed you out of the blue, or perhaps you just fell for one of those websites that looks exactly like your bank's, except for that tiny little detail where the URL is wellsfargo.com. The point is, it's a pain in the ass, and it can leave you feeling about as secure as a goldfish in a piranha tank. But here's the good news. Becoming a victim of cyber fraud doesn't mean the fight is over. It just means it's round one, and frankly, you've got more of a fighting chance than you think. So, if you find yourself suddenly short a significant chunk of your hard-earned cash thanks to some digital banditry, here's what you need to do, and I cannot stress this enough. First things first, sound the alarm. Look, I get it. Nobody to admit they've been scammed. It can feel like admitting defeat, but trust me, the sooner you accept it and take action, the better your chances of, not letting some tech-savvy teenager in their mother's basement make off with your life savings. So, first things first, you need to report the fraud. And no, I don't mean just angrily tweeting about it and hoping the internet somehow dispenses justice. We have actual systems for this, antiquated as they may seem. Head to cybercrime.gov.in, because, surprise, there's an entire website dedicated to this stuff. Or if you prefer to add a little human interaction to this whole mess, dial 1930. That's the cybercrime helpline number. And yes, it does in fact exist. File a complaint. Tell them everything. Every last detail matters here. Consider it your online police report. Alert the financial troops. All right, you've alerted the cyber police. Now it's time to bring your bank into the fight. Because let's be honest, they're the ones with the real power here, the power to freeze accounts, reverse transactions, and hopefully, very hopefully, get your money back. Call them immediately. Don't just send a casual email and hope for the best. Pick up the phone, navigate that terrifying phone tree of automated responses, and tell them what happened. And for the love of all that is good in this world, you got from the cybercrime folks. That's right. On paper with a pen, because you be asked for it approximately 17 times throughout this ordeal, and nothing says I am a competent adult who has my act together quite like not having to put a bank representative on hold while you frantically search for a pen that actually works. Small fry fraud, the under 50k edition. Okay, here's where things get a little tiered. Because apparently in the eyes of the law, not all cyber fraud is created equal. If the amount swiped from your digital clutches happens to be less than 50,000 Indian rupees, consider yourself lucky. Not won the lottery lucky, but lucky in the sense that this next part is slightly less complicated. Gather your evidence. This means screenshots of suspicious activity, emails, those texts from your bank asking for your PIN, basically anything that screams, hey look, fraud happened here. Now take that digital paper trail down to your local police station. Yes, the actual physical police station. Remember those? Present your case, channel your inner Sherlock Holmes, and pray you get an officer who's at least vaguely familiar with the concept of the internet. They'll guide you through the next steps, which will likely involve filing another report and hoping for the best. Chapter 4, the mid-tier heist, 20 lakhs or less. Okay, so the amount stolen is more than 50,000 rupees, but less than or equal to 20 lakhs. This, my friend, puts you squarely in cybercrime's awkward middle child territory, not small enough to be easily dismissed, but not quite large enough to make headlines. But hey, at least you get to add a new level of bureaucracy to the mix. Once you've lodged your complaint with the cybercrime helpline, contacted your bank, you did those things, right? It's time to pay a visit to your friendly neighborhood cybercrime cell. Don't worry, they're probably much less intimidating than they sound. Probably. Bring all your meticulously compiled evidence, that trusty complaint number, and maybe a stress ball, because let's be real, you're going to need it. The good news is, these guys are the specialists, the digital detectives, if you will. They'll investigate your case with the seriousness it deserves, or at least as much seriousness as they can muster between sips of lukewarm chai. The big leagues. Welcome to the CICE show. All right, big spender, if the amount stolen from you is more than 20 lakhs, then congratulations, I think. You've officially graduated to the big leagues of cyber fraud. This is the kind of stuff that makes headlines and keeps cybersecurity experts up at night, and honestly, it probably warrants a whole other video entirely. But for now, let's focus on what need to do. Remember that website you visited earlier, cybercrime.gov.in? Well, get ready to become very well acquainted with it, because it's about to become your new best friend. See, when the stakes are this high, you need to bring in the big guns. And by big guns, I mean the Cybercrime Investigation Center for Excellence, or CICE as they like to be called. It sounds like something out of a spy movie, and frankly, that's not entirely inaccurate. These guys are the elite force of the cybercrime fighting world. The digital equivalent of SEAL Team 6, only instead of rappelling down buildings, they're battling it out in the dark depths of the internet. Freezing the funds operation digital lockdown. Now here's the good news, and honestly, you deserve some good news by this point. Once you've filed all the appropriate reports, jumped through the necessary bureaucratic hoops, and sufficiently proven that you are in fact a victim and not just someone who accidentally spent their entire rent money on online gambling, no judgment, the cyber cell will swing into action, or at least they'll get around to it eventually. Look, I'm not saying they're lazy, but let's just say that the wheels of cyber justice sometimes turn a little slowly. But when they do finally get moving, they can be surprisingly effective. One of the first things they'll do is try to freeze the fraudsters' accounts. Think of it as a digital lockdown, preventing them from emptying the coffers and skipping town with your hard-earned cash. It's not a foolproof system, but hey, it's better than nothing, right? Okay, so the fraudsters' accounts are frozen. That's a win, right? Well, yes and no. You see, while freezing the accounts prevents the criminals from accessing the money, it also, unfortunately, prevents from accessing it. I know, it's the digital equivalent of locking the stolen goods in a vault and swallowing the key. But hey, at least it's safe, right? So how do you get your money back? Remember those documents I told you to hang on to? Those lovely official-looking papers from the Cybercrime Cell, or CICE? Well, dust those off, because you're going to court. That's right, it's time to lawyer up. Put on your best outfit, because appearances matter even in the pursuit of justice. And prepare to navigate the wonderful world of the Indian legal system. Now, if there's one piece of advice you take away from this entire ordeal, let it be this: act quickly. I'm talking lightning-fast reflexes, Usain Bolt sprinting to the finish line kind of speed. Because, unfortunately, the world of cyber fraud operates on a first-come, first-served basis. The sooner you report the crime, the sooner the authorities can freeze those accounts, and the better your chances of actually recovering your stolen funds. Think of it like this: every second you waste is another second that the cyber criminals have to transfer your money to some shady offshore account where it'll be virtually untraceable. And nobody wants that, least of all your bank account. So as soon as you realize you've been scammed, don't hesitate. Don't wait until tomorrow. Don't even wait until after lunch. Drop everything and get to work reporting it. Look, I get it. The internet can be a scary place, especially when it comes to your finances. It's like the Wild West out there, only instead of cowboys and saloons, it's phishing scams and ransomware attacks. But that doesn't mean you should just throw your hands up in defeat and retreat to a life of ludism. Knowledge is power, as they say, and a little bit of digital savvy can go a long way in protecting yourself from becoming a victim of cyber fraud. So be vigilant, be skeptical, and for the love of all that is holy, don't click on any links from emails claiming to be Nigerian princes who need your help transferring millions of dollars. Trust me on that one. Look, nobody likes to admit they've been scammed. It can feel embarrassing, isolating, and frankly, just plain awful. But here's the thing: talking about it can help. Not just for you, but for everyone. Because the truth is, cyber fraud thrives on silence. It preys on our reluctance to admit we've been fooled, our fear of judgment, our shame. But by sharing our stories, by speaking out about what happened, we can help break down those barriers and empower others to do the same. Think of it as a digital neighborhood watch. If someone's trying to break into our collective online homes, the least we can do is warn each other, share tips, and maybe even invest in a few metaphorical digital security cameras. So spread the word. Tell your friends, your family, your co-workers that barista who always spells your name wrong. The more people who know about the dangers of cyber fraud and what to do about it, the safer we'll all be. So there you have it, your crash course in what to do if you become a victim of cyber fraud. It's not pretty, it's not fun, and it's definitely not something you want to experience firsthand. But hey, at least now you're armed with the knowledge to fight back. Remember, time is of the essence when it comes to cybercrime. The sooner you act, the better your chances of recovering your stolen funds and bringing those digital bandits to justice. Stay informed, stay vigilant, and remember, you're not alone in this fight. There are entire government agencies, law enforcement branches, and yes, even slightly neurotic comedians on the internet who are dedicated to helping you navigate the treacherous waters of the digital world. So the next time you get that email from a Nigerian prince, just hit delete. And if you do happen to fall victim to cyber fraud, don't panic. Take a deep breath, follow these steps, and remember there's a whole community of people out there, including yours truly, who are rooting for you to get your money back and give those cyber criminals a taste of their own digital medicine. Remember, time is of the essence when dealing with cyber fraud. Act quickly, stay informed, and help others by spreading awareness. Stay safe online.